ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. We are going to see the significance of just a quarter of a mantra, essentially, and briefly we may touch upon the other 3/4 of the same mantra. But the first pada of the mantra on which we will deliberate is Ishāvasya Upanishad Sarvam. The whole mantra has 3 more padas. We will go into them later. Just this part, Ishāvasya Upanishad Sarvam. This part is like a slogan. I would call it is a revelation from the Upanishads with tremendous significance. Ishāvasya Upanishad Sarvam. Literally, it means, to take a little liberty of translation, see God everywhere. If we don't take translations liberty, then it means cover everything with God. Vasyam means achadaniyam, cover it. So cover means there is a chair in your room, you take a big black blanket and cover that chair. Then you don't see the chair anymore. You see the black blanket only. But Shankaracharya gives a more appropriate illustration, because the chair being covered by a black blanket may be misleading. You may cover the chair with a black blanket, but the chair is behind the blanket. He gives an illustration in his Bhashya. A piece of sandalwood, unfortunately, because of some contact with water, with some humidity, has developed a slight layer of foul-smelling moss, some bacterial growth perhaps. As a result, you pick up that piece of sandalwood, you say, oh, what is this foul-smelling piece? I'd like to throw it. Then a friend of yours comes along and says, oh, don't throw it. Take a sandpaper and remove that layer on the piece of sandalwood. Then you will see the difference. And you take a piece of sandpaper, rub the surface of the piece of sandalwood, and wow, a moment ago there was foul smell, and now the perfume, the fragrance fills the room. And that is a better example, because what caused the piece of wood, sandalwood, to smell foul was an unwanted growth of some moss. And here too, what makes us unable to see God is an unwanted growth of avidya and its effects. Avidya tasyaha karyani cha, we say in the Bhashyas. A basic erroneous perception. Avidya essentially is an erroneous perception. There is a rope, and alas, you are not seeing the rope as a rope. By error, you see a snake. And then, once you have that basic error in perception, there is fear in you, there is confusion, there is a lot of anxiety, there is a lot of dilemma. Shall I do something about this snake here? Shall I bring a stick and handle it? Or shall I just run away? You and I suffer such dilemmas, such confusions on many occasions in life, and the Vedanta says, go to the primary question. Is this trouble real? Who is in trouble? I. What is this I that is in trouble? Who am I? Either question your own presumed identity or question the perception of the situation by you. Vedanta asks you to go deeper and once for all solve the problem. So Shankaracharya's illustration is rub the piece of sandalwood, then you make the piece of sandalwood have fragrant smell everywhere over it, up and down, behind and front, anywhere you touch the piece of sandalwood, it is fragrant. Like that, by elimination of avidya, by elimination of by elimination of adhyasa, you will be able to see far and near, to your right and to your left, everywhere there is God only. Satyam Shivam Sundaram is your perception, is the true perception of yours, while the previous one was fraught with error. So, Ishāvasya Sarvam has the significance of Samyak Darshana. Acharya Shankara is fond of that word, Samyak Darshana, right seeing. In olden days, maybe it is there now also in the America, there used to be a program, 2020, once a week on the ABC channel, I guess. And 2020 is the American way of describing right vision. In India, we go for meters, 6 meters by 6 meters. There it is 20 feet by 20 feet. So 20 feet distance, they keep something, and then there's another 20 feet in that description. Right vision of your eyes, when you go to opticians, is called in America, you have a 20/20 vision. Go home, you are okay. Your eyes are okay. 20/20 vision. That reminds me quickly to mention, I had my glasses first time when I was 15-year-old and accompanied by a brother because I had not traveled. I had to go to Manipal from my hometown. I was so nervous. I had never left my hometown like that. But my elder brother took me. Don't worry, I am with you. Manipal. Many of you have, all of you have heard. Kasturba Medical College. And my experience, I'll tell you now. A little boy, and I'm asking, the person testing my eyesight said, read that, which was, 20 feet away, 6 meters away. I started reading O, E, M, X, U, V, etc. I did a good job up to some lines, and you know how eyes are tested after a while, not clear. There was a village woman on another stool. There are four stools, four people, four nurses or staff, and all of us had to see different those boards. The woman sitting next to me, you know what she said? The nurse said, please read that, which is at a distance. She looked at that board, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Even I shook in my chair. What? Does she have that kind of board there? Mine is all jumbled up. O, E, M, W, S, P, Q, etc. Then I understood. That woman coming from a village, I guess, had not learnt reading English, but she had a complex. Oh my God, if I tell them I can't read English, what a shame it is. So she had somehow memorized A, B, C, D, E, F, G. She said, no problem, I can handle this situation. She just, then the nurse understood. Nurse, as some of us were watching, the nurse said, Amma, don't worry, you want to read Kannada, correct? So the nurse went up to that board. It had four surfaces. She rotated it by 90 degree. There was Kannada. Pa, ma, ka, ki, cha, chu, etc. was there. Now read. This lady has studied Kannada. Then she started reading perfectly. Anyway, I am not here to crack jokes or distract you. There is a complaint against me already. Swami Chidananji takes a topic and goes all over, so people said. I am examining it, whether that is truth, or perhaps I am going to such comments which are going above their head. You know. So one of the two is true. I sometimes do take a tangential, somewhat tangential diversion and bring something that some other saint, Papa Ramdas or J. Krishnamurti or some Ellen Watts has said about the topic. And to some people in the audience, why is he going to Ellen Watts? Why is he going to Papa Ramdas? He has gone away from Gita, it seems. So maybe partly they are true, partly, I am right. So I come back, Ishāvasya Sarvam. First of all, the very first quarter of that Upanishad, having 18 mantras, boom, it goes to the highest plateau. What this means is the piece of sandalwood is all fragrant sandalwood. There is no foul smell. Rub it with the sandpaper and you see. Likewise, this entire universe and you yourself, this entire existence is pure Brahma. Realize it by knowing the highest truth. Now, Shankaracharya begins his commentary on the Ishāvasya Upanishad saying, this Ishāvasya Upanishad is called an Upanishad with all justification. Unlike some other Upanishads, this particular Upanishad, which is named Upanishad later, this bunch of 18 mantras in the Shukla Yajurveda is located in such a place where many chapters after that and many chapters before that are all talking about karma and upasana. In karma and upasana, you are a karta and there is something you do and some phala that you get. Then to do karma, you use some instruments. And then you do the karma in favor of some Indra or Varuna. Indraya idam. So they are called karakas. Just as in a cricket match, there is a bowler, there is a batsman, there is an umpire, there is a fielder, then lot of spectators. So different people have different role to play. In karma, it is like that. But Shankara says, these 18 mantras, if not all, several of them, talk about a vision where there is no division between object and subject. There is no subject, object, instrument, and someone for whose purpose it is being done, and some place where it is done. In grammar and in philosophy, they are called karakas. Kartrakaraka, Karmakaraka, Karanakaraka, Sampradanakaraka, Apadanakarana, and Adhishtanakaraka. First case, second case, third case, fourth case, fifth case, and seventh case. Vibhakti. The Vibhakti is not just a grammar topic. The Vibhakti is a description, a technical description of how our life runs. There are hierarchies in the life as we perceive, but in the enlightened perception, there is no hierarchy. Brahma adastat, Brahma uparishtat, Brahma dakshinataha, Brahma vamataha. There is a mantra in Chandogya. Everything is Brahman. And all of you know the famous Gita shloka. Brahma arpanam, Brahma havihi, Brahma agnau, Brahmana hutam, Brahma eva gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. The fire is Brahman. What you offer is Brahman. The ladle or spoon with which you offer maybe ghee is Brahman. The person who is performing the Havan, Homa, Yajna is Brahman. And where he wishes to go, Swarga, Swargam Gantavyam, that Swarga is Brahma. And everything is Brahma. If you see Shankara's commentary on Bhagavad Gita, that fourth chapter, 24th verse, Brahmarpana Brahmavi, he says, this is Samyak Darshana Yajna. It's not talking about a homa, that is just an illustration. It's talking about that enlightened vision where the division between what is seen and the one who sees is erased. Advaita. Though I have been into it for such a long time, other day a piece I read somewhere made me say, wow, I never noticed this. In general life, we praise objective vision. When you have no partiality, when you have no prejudice, when you don't take sides, you see something as it is. Then we say you are very objective. A lady comes and there is a fight between her own son and some boy, a classmate of his. And there is a fight, there is a quarrel. The lady asks, what is happening? And she understands the situation objectively without bringing the issue of, I am this boy's mother. Somehow I have to take the side of this boy. No, she is very impartial. If she finds out that her son has made some mistake, if not loudly and in a rude way, softly she would say to her son, my son, you have made a mistake. Come on, I'll settle it. If there is some damage to the other person's property, you come with me. But you are at fault, my dear son. People will say, wow, she is so objective. There is no subjective coloring. I am his mother, so I better judge it in favor of this boy. So, generally in life, see, this is an important point, please note. In life, objectivity is praised, calling a spade a spade. That's the idiom. You are very objective. You know. In various kinds of arguments, disputes, differences of opinion, the judges in courts have to be very objective. They must go by facts and give the verdict. But what I read the other day in some essay on Vedanta, it says the objective perception is dismissed in Vedanta. I shook for a moment. I said, no, but generally in Vedanta we say Vedanta asks us to see things as they are. Why is this author saying the objective perception is dismissed? Next line was very relieving to me. The author says, yes, I now remember who it is. In Nitya Swarupananda's book on Ashtavakra Gita, there's a long introduction by some Professor Mukherjee. This was a book published in 1920 or so. This Professor Mukherjee, that is Mukherjee, writes, the vision of Advaita Vedanta dismisses objective perception. What is meant is, compared with prejudiced perception, biased perception, colored perception, your being objective is wonderful. You are a very honest person. But then there is a transcendence where there is no object at all. Aham Brahmasmi. There is only Brahma in front, here, above, below. Everything is Brahma. I felt like applauding as I was reading it on my flight from Bombay to Bangalore, reading Nitya Swarupananda's translation of Ashtavakra Gita and that introduction by Professor Mukherjee. I said, yes, partial or prejudiced vision, so impartial and objective vision, then the transcendental vision, where your ego has got erased and there is only the unitary perception. That is Ishāvasya Sarvam. Acharya Shankara argues that these 18 mantras, though they have as their neighbors many chapters which are heavily into karma, where there is a doer who is different from the object of work, who is again different from results of work, etc. This is not talking about that scenario where there are different roles. This is talking about a perception, the enlightened perception, where it is all one Brahma. On Bhakti Marga also, an advanced Krishna Bhakta says, I see Krishna everywhere. A beggar comes, oh, Krishna has come asking for alms. What a sport. Give. God, God, God alone. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa said one parable among the wonderful parables of Sri Ramakrishna. There is one where he talks about a guru who did a wonderful class in the morning. He said, everything is God. Everything, my boys, my girls, is God. And later on, the guru and students who go to the jungle to pick up some maybe pieces of wood or whatever, and they go in different directions. And you know, uh, what happens? One mad elephant comes. I guess the elephant picks up the guru and throws him by the side. Number one, and number two. Then the guru is not much harmed. There's another story of a little different kind. In this, the uh, the elephant in this story, there's a mahout sitting above the elephant. He is shouting, people, oh, everybody, move away. My elephant has gone berserk. And everybody runs here and there. But one brahmachari stands in front of the elephant and he remembers the morning class. Everything is God. So this elephant is God. Why should I run away from God? He stands there. The elephant picks up the boy and throws him 20 feet away. And he is badly injured. The other boys bring him back to the guru. The guru in this story is, I said he's harmed or leave him out. He is back in the ashram. The highly injured brahmachari is brought. Somehow he is nursed and is okay somewhat, but bruises. Then the guru says, when everybody ran away, why did you not run? The brahmachari says, Guru, you said everything is God. Therefore I stood right in front of the elephant. Then Sri Ramakrishna's parables very often have that touch of humor. The Guru says, yes, the elephant was indeed God, but the Mahout who asked all of you to run, that was also God. Why did you not listen to the Mahout God? Why did you only see the elephant God? Then the Brahmachari says, there is a saying, Brahmachari Shatamarkataha. Oh, I have been unnoticed. Anyway, the Advaita Vedanta many times looks like rather hard to gulp. This is too much, too far-fetched. Not really. Ishāvasya Sarvam. This whole universe, outside and inside, everything around and you also included, it is Brahma only. Shankara says there are mantras. For example, later on there is the eighth mantra, Saparyagat, Akayam, Avranam, Shubram, and Avranam, and it's unharmed, is ever pure. That is the truth. So, quoting such expressions, there are several mantras in the Ishāvasya, and this mantra itself, God is everywhere, see God everywhere, and that vision itself will empower you, enable you to let go of your fears and anxieties. Tena tyaktena bhunjitaha, the third pada. Go for this renunciation, born of the new Samyak Darshana. Magradaha kasya sviddha. One meaning of kasya sviddha is kasya chit. Do not seek anybody else's wealth. Do not seek any pleasure somebody is enjoying. Do not seek anybody else's privileges or chair. You know, sometimes even those who have gone pretty deep into spirituality in a way, after many years meet an old classmate, and the old classmate comes to pick his friend who is a sadhu now in Mercedes car. And the old classmate talks about all the laurels he has received and takes this sadhu friend, his old classmate, to a big mansion. If the sadhu, pretty good, but still has a little bit of raga, for a little while sadhu's heart may sink. I should not have become a sadhu. This classmate of mine, in high school, he used to come to me for doubts. I used to clear his doubts. But by becoming a sadhu now, see, look at the grandeur. So the sadhu's mind also, of course, if he doesn't have full-fledged vairāgya, which is often the case, slightly there is a unrest inside. Then, of course, he should go back and do some japa, tapa, Vishnu Sahasranama chanting. He should read again the Upanishad, Shankara's commentary. Then, why was I swayed by wealth and glitter and glamour? All that glitters is not gold. He remembers. If sadhus and brahmacharis and people on the path of spirituality don't do any sadhana, saying, oh, I know it all, then they run the risk of getting a bit sad looking at what others have got. Magradaha is not so much an imperative statement, because imperative statement is when somebody has the choice. See, you ask your grandson, can you get a glass of water for me? The grandson has the choice to go get it or not to go get it. So grandson may just look up and again put his head down. That is like karma. Karma has options. Shankaracharya says, in karma vibhaga, in the context or domain of karma, kartum shakyate, akartum shakyate, anyata kartum shakyate. Your grandson may go bring water, or he may not do anything at all, or he may go and with a broad smile bring not only water but some bananas and also a badam milk, something, three, four things. You say, I wanted water. Grandpa, we love you. Take all this. Enjoy. I'm not at home all the time. Today, when I'm here, you ask me for something. It's my joy. He did anyata. Kartum, akartum, anyata kartum. But this is a very serious topic in the Vedanta. In Jnana, somebody asks you to close your eyes. You close your eyes. Then they hold a rose in front of you and say, now open your eyes, tell me what this is. This is a simple example. This Dvaita Darshana is of a subtler kind, but for illustration's sake. You open your eyes and you say, it is rose. You have no option but to say it is rose, unless you are trying to be mischievous. If you are mischievous and want to make a fool of him or something, say something else. I see a snake in your hand, etc. But to be true to yourself, to be honest, if it is a rose, you will say it is a rose. If that person is holding a pen in his hand and then he asks, open your eyes and tell me what you are seeing. I see a pen in your hand. There the matter ends. Like that, Shankara makes very incisive, profound comments. If you see some of the mantras in this portion, beginning with the very first mantra, you will see that it is talking about a jnana, a new seeing, which is right seeing. Samyak means right. Darshana means seeing. And that is not the character of mantras, which are in majority. 95% of the mantras in the four Vedas are about karma or upasana. In karma or upasana, it is full of alternatives. Kartum, akartum, anyata kartum, etc. There is karta, there is karma, there is karana, there is place where you are sitting, adhisthana, and sampradana. You are doing something for somebody's sake, apadana. You are taking ghee from a larger vessel in a spoon and putting into the oven for fire. So taking from the vessel, that is called apada. A fruit falls from a tree, that is the Panchami Vibhakti in grammar. So kartra, karma, karana, sampradana, apadana, adhisthana, these are all various positions that are valid in karma. Whereas in the Ishāvasya Upanishad, all of them are negated. Everything is you. Mahout also is God, elephant also is God, but from the Vyavahara point of view, that boy should have run. Because he has not realized yet. He is still in the Dvaita perception. Ishāvasya-idam sarvam. And Shankara further explains, what is this Isha? Dirgha Isha. There he says, Ishte, someone who rules. Ishte means rules or governs. That is the verbal form. Ishte iti eat. A less known word, hardly known to any most of us. Eat. Eat, not eat. With Dhanuswara in Hindi, it is brick. This is eat, not English eat, not about eating. The Sanskrit word eat means someone who rules. And the Tritiya Vibhakti of it, by the ruler, this entire Sarvamidam, by all this has to be enveloped as though by the understanding that it is God. Ishwarena Sarvam Jagat Achadaniyam. Achadana is covering. But to be more precise, the Achadana here is nothing outside has to be brought, but the erroneous perception. Therefore, Shankara's example is most appropriate. The foul smell, this slimy layer, that has to be rubbed off. Then you discover it in all glory. In the case of the rope and snake, nothing needs to be done except some more light, and you widen your eyes and see properly. This is called the greatness of right seeing. Swami Chinmayananji used to say, a husband who is by nature very irritable, your wife does something small, he would get anger, lose his temper, or sometimes without the wife doing anything also, he would bring the roof down. He comes home from office, olden days story. Now, newer version, I may have to change. A very irritable wife comes home and husband is taking care of the house. Husband makes coffee for her, for him, for her, and she yells. I will tell me give you the version who Jesse Mayanand used to say. The husband says, "Where is my tea?" She says, "Ready here." He smiles. She gives him a cup of tea. He takes one sip and says, "I told you so many times I need sugar. Am I diabetic? Why are you giving me tea without sugar?" But she matches his impatience with her patience. She matches his anger with her cheerfulness, with a broad smile, unconditional love. She says, "Dear, I know how much sugar you take, 1.5 spoon. But I thought you would yourself stir it. There's a spoon also, just to stir it." And the husband stirs it. Swamiji used to narrate all this with so much gusto, so much of, energy, so much. He would do a big drama and all of us are laughing. In the early years, 80, 81, 1980, 1981, I used to laugh so much. But one of those lectures, early lectures, for a moment I said, let me see whether he is also laughing. I looked at him. He is not laughing. He cracked the joke and makes in Madras, in T Nagar. I attended the first talks by him. 5,000 people in the big ground. I was a college boy. And my first attention is look to the left, look to the right. All are laughing. I'm also laughing. Young men here, pretty women there, all are laughing. But on third or fourth evening, for a change, I looked at him. Is he also laughing? He is looking at all of them, all of us. Oh my God. He had great inner control. He would not get carried away by the Navarasas he brought in his lectures. He was anchored and stationed in something sublime. Anyway, the husband then realized he stirs. So there is sugar. He just had to stir it with the spoon. Like that, Advaita Vedanta says to us, right here and right now, there is bliss that can be experienced by us. All we need to do is see rightly. In the teachings of J. Krishnamurti also, he is a Advaita Vedantin in the disguise of somebody who condemned everything. It appears he criticized Shastra, he criticized Guru, he criticized God. But I was blessed. Somehow I got a glimpse of his insight. Thanks to Sri Ramana Maharshi. I saw that he also talks about the Samyak Darshana of Shankaracharya. I won't go long on it, but to sum up what I wanted to say, in Jiddu Krishnamurti's teachings, there is such a great amount of emphasis on right seeing. And he goes to the transcendental height of, can you see something without the interference of thought? It's a mind blowing topic. I also don't claim to know it so well, but I have some glimpses of it or some basic understanding. Seeing a situation, maybe seeing your disobedient son, or maybe seeing your daughter who has gone astray. But can you see her? Can you see him without memories clouding your perception? So the language is J. Krishnamurti is so different, but it boils down to a certain deeper level of our consciousness where a mystical topic it appears, there is seeing beyond the mind. There is intelligence beyond the mind. You and I saw so used to, in the first place, the level of the senses. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, and the five karmendriyas. These 10 indriyas rule the roost in our life. At the drop of a hat, we leave everything and go for some delicious food or some nice music and so on. But a good number of us, thank God, live in the sphere of the mind, not senses, indriya. Many a time we let go of some sense pleasure for enjoying some subtler thing, some music or some creative thinking. But 99.99% of humanity cannot see beyond mind and intellect. Even those who study Vedanta imagine that the Satchidananda Brahma is just watches, it is good for nothing actually. Shiva Shiva, Shantam Papam. That Satchidananda Brahma, yes, it doesn't do anything, but it does everything. Shiva is sitting in meditation, but Shiva only does everything, but outwardly Parvati may be seen to be doing. In the Upanishads, there is a saying, Pashyati achakshuhu, Shrinoti akarnaha. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad has a line like that. This supreme pure self, which is one with Brahman, sees without eyes, it hears without ears. We can add, it thinks without mind. It comes out with solution. Great mystics, great seers have said that when you rise to a certain higher level of consciousness, you are not speaking, your mind is also silent. Somebody comes and reports to you some problem. Out of silence, a solution comes out of you. Then that solution may use the mind, use the speech to convey to the person who has visited you. Anyway, this is very mystical. Ishāvasya Sarvam. And to draw a little more from Acharya Shankara's excellent commentary, let me tell you. Eat is the ruler. By the understanding that this is all that ruler who is inside me also, we must look at the universe. Jagatyam Jagat. In this entire universe, whatever one of the meanings of Jagat is Gacchati, it is Jagat. Because Jaga has a doubling. Gam Gacchati and Gam becomes Gagam, then one becomes Jagam, Jagat. So something like that. There is a reduplication feature. Then, Tena Tyaktina Bhunjitaha. Magrada Kasya Swidhan. Second meaning of Kasya Swid is you don't take it as Kasya Chit, but takes with as what they call a particle without any special meaning. It becomes then a question. Kasya dhanam? The first interpretation is don't seek anybody else's wealth or fame or name or any possession or any pleasure they are enjoying. Don't seek. That is the imperative statement. But in a deeper sense, Vedanta is not imperative. Vedanta is not about do or don't do. I already explained. Do, not do, or do something else is the karma vibhaga. This jnana vibhaga, which is Vedanta, is all about see rightly, rest will follow. So even though here also first translation is don't seek somebody's wealth, if you see Brahman everywhere, you will not seek. In English there are two auxiliary verbs, should and would. One level of interpretation is man should not seek somebody else's wealth. Should not. A deeper level of interpretation is when a man has the vision of God, he would not. Why would he seek anybody's wealth? If you are a billionaire and you see $100 bill in somebody's pocket, would you want it? You just look at it, not bad. These days, many people are walking around with somebody. Good, the country is prosperous. I don't need, I have enough, right? So, the lower level of karma is should and should not. The higher level of samyak darshana is would. And you would not seek anybody's wealth. You would be happy by yourself. So, Adi Shankara highlights such finer dimensions. And let me tell you one more. So, Atma evacha sarvam. That's the summary he gives. Brahma is Atma only. Is one of the lines which most of you know very well. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Ananta means which has no boundaries. Anta, boundary, limitation. Ananta, no boundary. Suppose God is everywhere, then you also exist separately. Then philosophically, you existing separately limit God. God existing separately from you limit you. When there are two, A and B, A limits B, B limits A. Maybe A is huge, B may be small, or B is huge, A may be small, doesn't matter. Once there are two entities, one limits the other. Whereas Satyam Jnanam Anantam, if you take seriously, Ananta means you also do not exist separately. Therefore, you are God, God is you. You lose your independent, individual existence, which is nothing to cry about, which is something to celebrate. You live a spontaneous life. You do the right thing at the right time without conflict. Your life becomes like one of the Prakarana Granthas, it is said, you are like a dry leaf which has separated from the tree and then it goes with the wind. You may be singing a song, it is floating in the air. That becomes your life. So Vedanta requires studying, listening to competent teachers, contemplating. A whole lot of wrong notions, misunderstandings get cleared. Otherwise, as you find in this world, many people say this Advaita Vedanta is such a beautiful world, God's creation, they call false. How can they do it? Whatever, I will not go into it. All sorts of criticism are essayed at Advaita Vedanta. But when we study Advaita Vedanta carefully for a length of time and meet competent teachers, then we find that, oh, now my doubt is cleared. Now my confusion is gone. As Arjuna, he did not get enlightened, but on the Dharma Vichara he got clear. Towards the end, he says, Stitosmi gata sandeha. I stand before you, Sri Krishna, freed from sandeha, doubt. Karishye vachanam tava. Nashto moha smritir labdha. All my delusion is gone. I now recollect or remember who I am. Though in Arjuna's context it was kartavya, kartavya, viveka. In the context of advanced sadhakas, it is satya, satya, viveka. They let go of asatya. They stand in satya. So we are either going into grammar and other technical explanations. Let me pause here. Ishāvasya Upanishad Sarvam is a wonderful proclamation which gives us a glimpse, a kind of rough idea. In that realization, not only my problems go, the one who has problem also merges in God blissfully. There is nothing to imagine that, oh my God, I don't exist. No, you very much exist. You exist as the whole. Now you exist as the part. You exist as the whole, and on a simple transactional level, you are much more loving. You are unconditionally loving. In your individual existence, where you are always concerned with your name, your status, your prestige, however loving you are, that love had its own sad limitations. When you merge with the infinite, your personality is as vibrant as before, as alive as before. In fact, it reaches the highest possible level of self-expression in love, in generosity, in patience, and in 100 other virtues of life. Namah Paramarashibhyo, Namah Paramarashibhyah.